The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
Born in Barnwell, South Carolina in 1891, Mary Simms Oliphant was the granddaughter of one of South Carolina's most famed literary figures, 19th century novelist William Gilmore Simms.
She was immensely proud of her grandfather. She, I'm sure, was steeped in her grandfather's books. He wrote the first history of South Carolina in 1840.
Oliphant graduated from Columbia College, then known as the College for Women, with a degree in piano. In 1916, she was asked to update one of her grandfather's South Carolina history books.
One day, Mr. W.H. Jones, a fine Virginia gentleman living in Columbia, president of the Southern Teachers Agency, said to me, "May, the best school history that I have seen is your grandfather's book. Why don't you take that book again, revise it, modernize it, cut it perhaps in half, put in illustrations and maps and the like, and then write the last half of the book."
She brought that particular history up to date from 1860 on to the first publication in the mid-19-teens. And that particular book, through various revisions, was in the schools for 60 years. We think it's one of the first histories that was mandated to be in the schools in the United States.
16 years later, Oliphant authored her own textbook. Known as the Simms History of South Carolina, this book went through 9 editions and was used by middle schoolers across the state for almost 50 years.
She said history came alive in her. I suspect it was a labor of love. I think she wanted to carry on that particular tradition.
Through a collaborative project with her daughter, Oliphant also produced a 3rd grade reader on South Carolina, which introduced young students to a basic history of their state. This book, which later evolved into a social studies textbook called From the Mountains to the Sea, shared stories of South Carolina heroes and Native Americans, and talked about the animals and plant life of the Palmetto State.
She said it just to the children of South Carolina. I think she really truly thought that she could impress upon people what their past was, and as fairly as she could reasonably portray it.
Like her grandfather, Oliphant's work was later considered controversial due to her depiction of slavery and race relations at the time.
Those things, were easy to point out, impossible to go fix.
One of Oliphant's most ambitious and challenging undertakings was the preservation of her grandfather's letters. Over a period of 10 years, she was able to collect, revise, and publish Simms' correspondence with other writers.
These were the letters of correspondence primarily between Simms and his friends, and also a lot of his contemporary authors of the day. Washington Irving, Edgar Allan Poe, William Cullen Bryant. That was a multi-year labor of love.
Oliphant's work was seen as a testament to her love for history and to the state of South Carolina.
Education was her life's goal, and I think she picked up where her grandfather left off, and I think she was extraordinarily talented at it. And I think as young people are just lucky to be able to have a calling that you otherwise have a great affinity for, and was able to carry that through her life's work.
In 1954, Oliphant became the director of the State Public Library Association and was awarded with 2 honorary degrees from the University of South Carolina and Furman University. She was also the first woman to receive the Order of the Palmetto, the highest civilian award that can be granted to South Carolinians with significant statewide contributions. On July 27, 1988, Mary Simms Oliphant passed away, but her work as an author continues to influence how South Carolina history is viewed today. As lifetime friend Governor Richard Riley said at her induction into the South Carolina Hall of Fame, "She was simply the lady who wrote our history."